I know I've answered this question before, but I'm answered again because I think I have a more detailed answer for you that you might like. Now, where we see the problem of people using our DNA info for other purposes is a lot of times going to be in direct to consumer actual DNA kits. So, like Ancestry DNA, 23andMe, those things like that are the ones who are really going to be using our information for other things. And this is how they can do it. Because they aren't really such a healthcare system, they don't really use HIPAA and they don't really rely on HIPAA as their policy. So they make up their own policies, they make up their own rules in some sort of way. So here are some things to watch out for if you're going direct to consumer. I'll also give you some tidbits for a doctor and to understand those things. Okay. Always read a company's privacy policy of what they're doing with your DNA information, how they're storing it, where they're storing it at. Can you delete it? Can it be retracted? Do they still hold on to it? Watch out for those policies and see what those policies are actually saying. That is going to be your best. Next, beware when you're touching that research button. And I say that because a lot of people are using, when they take research, they take your stuff to outside labs. So your information is going to outside labs. Your DNA is going to outside labs. And then they may go to another third party, and you have not basically given them the okay or know what their policies are or know what's going on and how they are handling your actual DNA. So know that when you're saying, oh, it's okay to do research, be careful about who it's going to, or understand that it's going to it could be going to multiple third parties because each lab does something different and each lab has so many advances or not. And know that being anonymous does not mean your data is not going to be cared for. It's not always going to be taken care of. They can still link it back to you. That's all I'm saying. And be careful about giving them permission to store your sample because then they want to use it for like, oh, we're going to use it later for more advanced testing when we get more money to expand our lab. You want to be careful of that because one, how long they've held your DNA sample, as well as you don't know what they're going to do it later. They may give it to another lab and another lab. It can always get into that conjunction. And lastly, when it is done by a doctor, a trusted doctor, or just finding a good doctor, you are protected by HIPAA. You are protected by that law and the laws through HIPAA, which means your information should not be passed on to anybody else. And also check what their policies are and the labs that they use and how they are using your sample and asking them what the doctor does and how the doctor is going to use it. Make sure they're not using it for any further research or anything else because you want to be careful of your information. Follow along because in the next one, I'll be showing you how to look up quickly a naturopathic or holistic doctor. And we'll show you just the difference because there is a bit of a difference. And what sites are pretty good to use and what ways to look for. And if your insurance is going to cover it.